When I was a young boy, I used to think that professorship, being a professor, attaining to the height of having, titles like a professorship, is a hallmark of wisdom, knowledge, understanding. But recently, it appears as I grew up, I discovered that is not the case, especially when it comes to leadership. The current governor of Anambra State, who is Professor Charles Soludo, have oftentimes in recent times shown that professor is not the attainment of wisdom, knowledge, and sound mind or judgment. Under his leadership, we have watched him in public, made certain statements that does not represent the Anambra very well, nor representing Igbo. He's supposed to be #1 ambassador of Anambra State, to show what Anambra represents. But then, in recent times, that's not the case, especially now that we are approaching another gubernatorial elections in Anambra State. Just a few days ago, we learned, we saw him making statements like the crimes being committed in Anambra State and Igbo, in Igbo land, is perpetuated 99.9%, meaning that 100% of crimes that are taking place in Igbo land are done by Anambarians and Igbo. And I look at it, I just shake my head, because he showed that he's lacking in wisdom. He's self-serving with that kind of statement, self-serving in the sense that he's looking for excuses, to dodge his responsibility as a governor and the chief security officer of the state. 2, he's trying to project himself to be appeared, acceptable in the national politics in the future, and that informed why he wrote public letter, an adventurous public letter against his own brother, Mr. Peter Obi, when he was contesting for president of this nation. Just last year, he also made a comment just to, give excuses, unwanted excuses, why he has not turned Anambra into Dubai Taiwan by claiming that Anambarians are illiterate. But if you check the statistics of most educated states with quality education, out of the 36 states plus FCT 37, you will find Anambra in top 3. Just this year alone, the JAM they wrote in this 2025, the top performance, you can get either for male and female, for top 10 in female and top 10 in male. You will see Anambra. In fact, the highest person with the highest score in this JAM this year alone is Anambarian, to prove that he doesn't know what he's saying. And here again, he is presenting Anambarians as criminals, and at the same time, you want to go to the Anambarians to seek for their mandate to be re-elected. In fact, I will be surprised if he wins, or Anambarians even try to bring him back as a governor. It's a shame, to say the least. At the same time, he was verifying his people. Other governors in that region, like LS Oti of Abia State, is showing leadership without giving excuses, because he's elected to provide solutions. At the same time, he has been able to rescue one of his own that was wrongfully, sentenced, put into death row, Oboni Ibojono. But under the watch of Soludo, his own person, Mr. Peter Mwachukwu, has been sentenced to death for killing the wife without him doing any intervention, whereas that judgment is inconsistent with empirical facts of what happened. The same time he was, putting bad image of his state, at the same time you saw the likes of Mba governor of Enugu State. You understand? Doing wonderful thing. We saw Chimamanda there at the same day, projecting Enugu in a good light, launching Enugu Air, and so many other things. We expect that a governor like Soludo in his caliber is supposed to be a good ambassador of where he comes from. But that is not the case. It's very shameful, because if you try to do a research of what has happened with regard to security in Anambra and Igbo land, you will discover that his claims are not inconsistent with what he's saying. Are you going to tell me that the killings in Benue, in Taraba, in Abia, just recently we saw what Abia State Governor did with the park at Lokbanta, where they discovered a lot of things? Are you also going to say that it's Indibo that are doing that? Yes, you don't, profile a people just to score cheap political points.
Mr. Charles Soludo of Anambra State once said 99